is basically the key to a happy life. But surprisingly, many people, they don't know how to express their emotions. That is the main thing. Aristotle, long back, he said that anybody can become angry. That is not a very difficult thing, but it is very easy. But to get angry with the right person and to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not easy. So how we are going to express our emotions and all this, so all this depend our psychological well-being. So before going further, I would like to ask one question, like, what do you understand by psychological well-being? Can you unmute anyone, and
Yeah.
if anyone can answer this?
Please
Go,
unmute
yeah.
whoever wants to answer, please. Vinith, you want to answer? Okay, I think
Like,
we will go ahead.
like what is psychological well-being? What do you understand like psychological? Okay, so yes, psychological well-being, right? That is his basically the emotional health and overall functioning, because our emotional and psychological and social, all these three areas are covered in psychological well-being. Because we can say that yes, like it affects how we think, feel and act. That is very important. Like what I said just now about Aristotle, that we think something, we feel something, and we act in a different way. All this is not all interlinked or we cannot say that yes, we are acting, yeah, we are doing something in that particular emotion. So that is very important. And psychological health also means that we have to handle stress, relate to others, and we have to make choices. So it is very, very important. And also, we can say that mental health is important at every stage of life, because right from childhood, then your adolescence, and going up to adulthood, all these stages of life of a human being, mental health is very important. Recently I was talking to one small boy, and like he comes to the field and he plays, but many a times I have seen that he is very much stressed. He is stressed because his family there is some problem, and he is unable to handle that problem, and very often he becomes sad. So mental health is very important. That if that environment is not given in your home, in the family, by your parents, by your siblings, then definitely mental health is affected. So yes, we'll go to the next slide. Yeah, these are the expressions of a disturbed mental health. Either you are stressed, you don't feel good, or you are fearful. The other one you can see here, the man, he's scared, he's anxious, that anxiety, fearful. So these are the emotions. And whenever you are disturbed, the mental health, if the mental health is disturbed, these are the emotions which are expressed. So yeah, now the reasons. What are the reasons, we can say, that affects our mental health? Now, first one is, we can say, our biological factors like genes or the brain chemistry. Yes, it is very important. Many studies have been done, and they have found that if the mother is anxious, the child will also behave in the same way. Depression is another major mental disorder which is transferred through genes. It goes, the biological factors is affected, because the brain chemistry. everyone knows the neurotransmitters which we have in our body, and these neurotransmitters are responsible, like serotonin, the oxytocin, and dopamine. Dopamine is a major role. It plays a major role in depression. So that is very important. How our neurotransmitters they work, they function, and how they affect our moods, whether you are depressed or you are in a elated mood. So biological factors, yes, definitely, they are one of the major reason for your disturbed mental health. Then secondly, life experiences, trauma or abuse, anything which has happened, traumatic, and especially they say that death of the loved one, that is the most traumatic life experience one person feels, and that affects a lot. People, they are disturbed forever. If husband or wife dies, or the son, daughter, anyone in the family, in the immediate family, or someone you love very much, if if his death, that is the most traumatic experience they have. And then of course the abuse, the physical abuse, and all those, that is also very important for disturbed mental health. Then next thing comes that the family history. That is already, we have talked a little bit about the biological factors and the family history. So family history is important. Maybe your grandparents, great grandparents, they were having some problems, especially in, we can say, in depression, major mental depression, or we can say in bipolar disorder, depression and manic, in all these things, even schizophrenia, all these, they have a family history, and mental health is very important because it runs in the family. So yeah, we can go to the next slide. What are the symptoms of disturbed mental health? Before going further, let anyone unmute himself and can tell what are the symptoms you think of a disturbed mental health. Can because it's a interactive session. I don't want it to be monologue. I want that people should.
You can share your views.
Interact.
Anybody who wants to share what does they, I mean, what they understand by the symptoms of disturbed mental health. Anyone?
People getting anxious, anxiety,
Yes, yes.
maybe getting
anxious.
disturbed on very small things.
Yeah, irritability, you can say.
Yes.
Yeah, irritability.
And I think also when, things happen in a manner that doesn't fall in line with your expectations, you tend to then connect all the past unpleasantness with the current one, and it just builds up into this one big problem, and you feel that you're like a victim for life.
Right. The frustration. If you see if your goal directed behavior and something comes in between, and you are
You
unable
tend to like
achieve.
interconnect everything, unfortunately.
Right.
Also, I think the loss of sleep, loss of appetite,
Right.
physical, biological.
Yes. Physical, yes, very important. These are very important symptoms.
There will be like a lot of changes in your life cycle. So
life cycle. Very correct. Life cycle is changed. So yeah, Barkha, you can list out all those symptoms. Yeah. So these are early warning sign of a problem, we can say. And as you have mentioned that the physical symptoms, eating or sleeping, so sleeping, one of the major symptoms whenever we discuss about mental health, sleep is very important, because if a person does not sleep properly, definitely he is going to have some problems. And the first thing not the first thing, but yes, one of the symptoms we ask, how is your sleep? Like what time, daytime you sleep or night time you sleep. So all these are very, very important factors when we talk about sleeping, eating, and also pulling away people from usual activities. You are not doing the usual activities, having low or no energy, then feeling numb or like nothing matters, having unexplained aches and pains, feeling helpless or hopeless, smoking, drinking, using drugs. Because people usually start smoking and drinking, then this all these habits, then they become dependent on these things, and feeling unusually confused, forgetful, on edge, angry, upset, worried, and scared, yelling or fighting with family and friends. This is an important aspect, because on small things, you are taking up the fight, unnecessarily fighting with your family, and the reason you yourself you don't know, experiencing severe mood swings, right? See, mood swings, I think every person, we experience mood swings. One day we are very happy and we are on top of our energy, and we are running, jumping, and we are in a very happy mood. But some days we are not all that happy. We become depressed. So everyone finds all these things on a regular basis as well. But what do you think that these symptoms, like these are just the, we can say, these are the starting symptoms, warning sign, we can say. But how can we say a person is disturbed mentally and yes, he is having some problem? When can we say this? Can anyone unmute and tell?
When it affects your day-to-day life?
Yeah, day-to-day life. But see, these are early warning signs are there. But
I
some
think
more.
I think when people start pulling off socially, they socially cut off. I think that is the first sign when.
Yeah, yes, cutting off socially. They are not interacting with other people. And what else? Yeah, that is a good thing. And
It happens for
but
a very long period, maybe around 2 weeks.
yes, yes. Very good answer. If the same things, if they are happening, like as I told that many a times we feel low energy or no energy, or pain is there or something like that, hopelessness. These feelings they do come, but the main thing that if they are persistent for more than 2 to 3 weeks, then we can say yes, yeah, these are also some of the symptoms. Having persistent thoughts and memories you can't get out of your head, that is the important thing. Hearing voices, that is what hallucinations and delusions are there. And thinking of harming yourself or others, these are the suicidal tendencies due to depression, and inability to perform daily tasks like taking care of your kids or getting to work or school. So yes, these are also the symptoms of disturbed mental health. And if these symptoms, if they carry on, if they go on for a longer period, then that is something which is we have to look into. And another thing is that how strong they are, these symptoms. If they are not, you feel that yes, it is coming and going and for some time it is there, then it's okay, nothing to worry about. But if they are persistently and they are strong enough, like having persistent thoughts and memory you cannot get out of your head, that becomes your obsession, right? So when you are obsessive by certain thoughts which are not going out of your mind, then that is a disturbed mental health. See, now we are like, this is a pandemic time, the situation is here, and many people are facing this mental health, disturbed mental health. Situation is abnormal, no doubt. Your reactions. So definitely you will react in a frustrating way. You will react in an angrily way. You will be anxious. You will be depressed. The reactions are not abnormal because the situation is abnormal. Try to understand the difference between these two, the situation and the reaction. Why you react? You are anxious. You are anxious, that is your reaction to a particular situation. So you have to understand if the situation is abnormal, so your reactions will be, whatever the reactions will be, not all that abnormal. But yes, if it is short-lived, then it is okay. But if it is persistent, then definitely you are having a disturbed mental health. Now, yes, now what to do? That now the question comes, what we can do? Yes, seek help. That is the most important thing, to seek help. Actually, in India, mental illnesses are considered to be a taboo. People think, "अरे वो तो पागल हो गया है," right? So they feel that mental illness is. They don't think that it is like one of, like how physical illnesses are there. You have headache, you have cold, cough, anything you have fever, and you immediately you run to the doctor, to the practitioner, medical practitioner. But when it comes to your mental health, people are scared of what other people will say, because it's a taboo. If you are going to a psychiatrist, अरे लोग समझेंगे कि मैं पागल हो गया हूँ, right? So that is what awareness we have to bring out among people, that seeking help with a psychologist, with a counselor, or with a psychiatrist is very, very important. Yes, we can go to the next slide. Yeah, building better mental health and wellness. That is important, because why it is important? Because we all want to have a life, a contented life. Nobody wants to be ill, right? Our body also has a equilibrium. Whenever there is fever, or whenever there is some pain or ache, everyone wants to get back to normal. We don't want to be in any kind of physical illness or anything like that. So also mental health comes, so we also want to have a contented life. You can see all these emojis, how smiling they are. We love to see. Even we want ourselves also to become more happy. So here the researchers have also, many studies have been done in this area, and they have found that if you are psychologically happy, well-being is there. So the criminal activities will be less, will be less abusive, drugs and alcohol, you won't go towards those things. And on the other hand, you will show more of your positive behavior, your pro-social behavior, like you will be like meeting with people, you will be having friends and all these things. So this is very important to have mental health wellness. And yeah, next slide we can go to Barkha.
Yes, ma'am.
So how will it happen? Yes. Can anyone unmute and tell how we can have mental health wellness? What we can do? What all we can bring changes in ourselves?
Anyone can add their views, please, if anyone wants to share. How it will happen? Any idea?
I think one can start by developing a hobby so that it can distract them from thinking in a
Yes.
pessimistic or a negative way.
Yeah, very good. Yes, you have to have a purpose in your life. Very rightly you have answered. Yes, we have to. Here's the important steps. Like creating a purpose. You have to have a purpose in your life. There has to be a meaning. Yeah, and you have to understand what is your life purpose. That is very important, because if you are a student, right, so definitely you have a purpose in your life. As a student, you have to study, you have to study, and if you study in a more meaningful way, so like if you are studying of different people, if you are preparing for any competitive exam, so you have a purpose. You know that this many hours you have to study, and you have to see into how you can manage your time for other activities as well as this. So a student has his own life, he has his own timetable. So also, if a lady, if she is a housewife, she has to search the purpose in her life, and that is a way you can keep yourself mentally healthy. A retired person, that is he suddenly he is not going to his job, and now he has all the time. Now he should think of like what all ways he can keep himself busy, because another stressful area of our lives are retirement. Like how I said, that loss of a beloved person. The second one is of a retired life. Retirement is also one of the very stressful event in the life of a person. So retirement, a person should seek those things, like how he can make himself busy and keep his mental health in a good condition. So a person has to see his life purposes. Yeah. Next. Positive thinking and positive outcome. Definitely positive thinking. This is very very important, because as we know कि हर रात के बाद एक सुबह आती है ना, हर रात के बाद एक सुबह आती है. That is the positivity of our life. We have to be all that positive. कि अभी जैसे now this is a pandemic time, we see our lifestyle has changed and so many things have been changed. So here we have to be patient. We have to keep patience, because positive thinking and patience, they go hand to hand. And because we know, like definitely something will come up. The scientists are working, they are doing something, and maybe right now I am anxious, but it will come. The vaccination will come. So many people, so many countries, and all over the world, everyone is suffering, and so many people are working in a right way, in a positive way. So definitely, some outcome will come. So that is what the positive life attitude we have to keep. And all these positive thinking, like certain points have been written down, like write about a better future. You can write, if you are a writer, you can jot down your experiences. You can write what are all good things are happening with you. So that is important. And you can also recall positive life events, what happened in your life, the happy moments, and positive things which has happened in your life. Then perform acts of kindness. This is very important. When you help other, when that kindness, that compassion comes to you, you feel very very happy, right? When people, all these laborers were going back to their homes, and we have seen that many people, they came to help them. They gave them food and all these things, because they're pathetic condition, and many have shared many experiences with them, that how they were suffering and people gave, and how positivity came to the person who was giving out to them. That gives you like a positive thing. So when you perform acts of kindness, that helps you to build up your mental health. So it is very important. Then practice mindfulness. This is another thing which is coming up very much, that you just think of your present. What is happening in your at the moment, the present moment. live in that present moment. Whatever the past, the things which were negative, they don't think on them, and don't think about your future. What will happen? How will it go on? So the students, they are so worried about their exams. What will happen? Many of them, they constantly they call us, and they call me and ask when our exams will start, what will happen, what about our results, how we are going to go further. So all these, the future, that is what is troubling them. So practice mindfulness. Try to be in your present. Express gratitude. That is also one thing. Uh, Focus on all the good things that has happened, and just thank God. What whomsoever you worship, you just tell that thank you God, that this thing, that the life which you have given, and all the good things which you have given me. And then identify your strength, what all good thing you have, and what like you are good at. So you think of your strength, identify them, and identify your weaknesses as well, and change your weaknesses into your strength. And one is practice forgiveness. We all know how forgiveness helps you, because that frees you from all the burden of carrying that thing which you are not forgiving that person. Because there are many examples that have been, like if you are carrying initially, like if you are holding a glass in which just 50 ml of water is there, and for the first 5 minutes you don't feel the pain, but as the time grows, that 5 ml water feels as if you are carrying a 50 liter of water, because that heaviness grows, grows more and more. So whenever, if we are not forgiving other people, in fact, we are troubling ourselves, our mental health. We are constantly thinking like negative about that person. And on the other hand, we are creating problem for ourselves. Instead it is much easier, much better and easier if you forgive. So practice forgiveness. It won't come like that only, but yes, you have to be aware of these things, and you have to practice all this. Yeah, the next slide. Fostering relationship. Yes, we have to improve in these things. Um, we have to be in touch with other people, and now this is a time when we cannot go to a friend's house, but yes, we can meet them. We can have food, dinner with our family, and we can call a loved one just for chatting and all these things. Open up to someone. This is another very important thing, because emotional your well-being is very important. Whenever you are worrying, there is a saying, the problem shares are problem half. So when you share a problem, it reduces to half. That is very important. So you have to open up some one of your friend who is very like close friend, who is not going to betray you, the one who is not going to leak out your information or tell to other people. Tell to that trustworthy person. If you have a trustworthy friend, you open up to that person, and whenever, even if you just tell all those things, your worries, they lessen up. So that is important thing, and try to practice these things. Um, what is the key to achieve them? Yeah. Yeah, we can come. Yes, practice, right? Very good thing. It is only the practice that is the key thing. Because all these things I'm telling you, yes, we've been listening to all these things time and again. Many times we have heard all these things, but until and unless we are not going to practice it, it is not going to help us. So it is very, very important to practice them. The next one, be active. Yeah. So active means not only for your physical health, fitness, but mental well-being. Keeping yourself active, that helps a lot. Your self-esteem is, you can raise up, you can set goals or the challenges, and it all happens because if you are active, your chemical changes, that is what happening in your brain, that will bring the positive change. As I told you, serotonin and oxytocin and all these neurotransmitters, which they come into our brain, the chemical changes that takes place, because nothing can help us to boost ourselves unless these neurotransmitters are produced in an adequate amount. And when they are there, the positivity comes very fast. Yeah, so be active and um, learn new skills. Yes, that is also a very good way of uh, improving your mental wellness, because it helps boosting self-confidence. It helps to build a sense of purpose. What I said, that every person should have a purpose in his life. So that is important. Also, it helps to connect with others. When we are learning new skills, these days there are so many online things we can learn, many good things. Many housewives have learned good cooking. They have learned many new recipes. Many people have learned gardening by doing all these things. Even otherwise, you can learn new skills like writing. Writing is a very good thing. This is a skill which you can develop slowly. So all these things, they boost up your confidence and it raises up your self-esteem. Yeah, next slide.
Anyone can identify this?
Yeah, this is a very common picture.
COVID-19, coronavirus.
Yeah.
Yes, coronavirus.
Yes, COVID-19.
Yeah. COVID-19. Everyone knows, and we've been seeing all these, hearing about so much about this COVID-19. So now let us see how to protect our mental health from this pandemic. Now that is a very, very important thing. How to how we can protect ourselves. Now, yeah, people, like, if you can unmute yourself and give the suggestions, some can share their views, like how we can maintain.
Anybody who's practicing something to reduce the problem due to COVID can share, please. Okay.
Some of them I have already shared also, and the same thing we can carry on this also.
Let's see some.
How we can protect?
One way is to continue with a set routine which you had before COVID started. So most of the people are now working from home. So that shouldn't be a reason to not have a routine, and have a strict regimen, stick to a plan, and manage your time properly.
Yes, very important it is, because people who are working from
May I say something? Stop watching this news channel.
Very important.
First of all, unnecessary. They really. And second thing is be prayerful.
Be prayerful.
Be prayerful.
Yeah. Very right. Yes, yes. So, and some more.
Yeah.
Watch a lot of Netflix.
Netflix, all the movies which we have not watched earlier. Yeah, that is a way you should keep yourself happy. That is very important. Enjoy your life, and yes, that is one way of dealing the pandemic. Like as you said that you have to have your set routine. Many of us like work from home, so we feel, "Arey, kya hai?" Put off your video and sit as like however you want to do your work because no one is watching. But then, yes, it helps to like when you get up, you get ready, you change the place, you go in your drawing room. Many of all these people, they are working right from their bedrooms only. So change the place. That is very important. Change your room, go to another room, wash your face, get ready as if you are going to your office. So all these things that will boost up your mental health. So that is very important. We have to keep your routine what was earlier. So that will give you a sense of good health, wellness. And as you said, stop watching all the news channel. That is very, very right. Because what we see, we feel that everywhere it is so much of negative things that are coming into in our news. It is better if we don't listen to all these things. Even what we get in our WhatsApp University has really corrupted the mind of the people. Because unnecessarily whatever they want to share, we don't even see the authenticity of that message, and immediately we are forwarding it to other people without realizing how correct it is or how wrong it is. So that is yeah. Someone wants to say something.
Somebody wants to answer anything? Somebody wants to share? I
Okay.
request you.
The only thing I just want to mention is ki you can't stop seeing news and print papers and all. As a media person, what I can say about more than that. But only thing is, you just go for WhatsApp messages or general messages, social messages. Just be authentic and see. You should be
Yeah.
aware of what is going around. It is not like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we.
So
I agree,
yeah.
totally agree with this. But they create
Yes.
panic, sir.
No, it
That's
is
what,
not.
yes. I'm sorry to say.
No, it's not a matter of panic.
Over knowledge
It's not a
is
matter of
dangerous.
panic.
Just
It is
listen
not
for
a
some
matter of.
time. Yes, sir. Yes. Yes.
No, I'm just mentioning that it is not a matter of panic and all. There are few regional channels which are just cooking masalas and serving to you. It is your
Yes,
wish
sir.
and will you are not taking or not taking.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you go through Al Jazeera, you go through BBC, you go through all national channels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
More
You
or
are right.
less,
Yes,
you will
we
get
should be
the.
aware.
Yeah,
You should be
Yes, sir.
aware about.
You are,
actually,
yes, sir. Correct.
this point is actually said because of the reason that too much of sitting in front of television
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
news is very
Yes,
dangerous.
Barka, right. Correct.
So, ma'am,
Yeah.
can everybody
Yeah.
mute themselves?
Yes,
please?
ma'am. Please, you carry on.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, so that is what is important. We should go to the authentic news channels and
Yeah.
listen. Yes, we should be aware of what is happening around. That is very sure,
Yeah.
very important. We should also know like how many are there who are suffering and like all this important. But just once in a while, not 24 hours. In many houses, I have seen all the time the TV is on and everybody is sitting in front and the same repetition is going on and on and on, and that is what is affecting their brain.
Dr. Vanna, it is not an issue about television. It is a movie. It is a mobile set which is in your hand, and you are having 24-hour news channel in your hand. So it is up to you how to on and off, and
Yeah,
when
yeah.
to on and off those
Yes.
channels.
Right.
That is the problem.
Definitely, that is a thing. So we should we should constrain ourselves. We should control this urge Actually, this is an urge which we feel like, yeah, kya ho raha hai, kya nahi ho raha hai, let me listen to this. So that is, it is in our hands, and definitely we have to control this urge. And because many a times there are many emotionally arousing messages also they come, and we get like, see, this is happening, and people, they
So
are not listening.
mostly is by WhatsApp or social site.
Right, social media,
yeah,
definitely.
almost all
Yeah,
sides.
so and immediately we are there, we are forwarding those messages without thinking. So why do we want to get number one? Like, first of all, I have shared this news to you. You want to be the number one. That is a very new thing which has come to you, and immediately you want to share it. But here you have to control yourself. That urge, you have to control. Yeah, so coming back to our points, yeah, stay connected to your friends and family. That is very important. And this is a time when so many people have found on their, again, the social media has also helped people, the friends, to get connected. Many lost friends were there, but all these time we have come to know about them. So it is a good also, the positive side of the social media is also there. So the only thing is that we should be aware how much to use it and how much not to use it. Yeah, another next, helping others, as I have told, to help. You are helping others, and on the other hand, you are helping yourself. On the other hand, yeah, and the next one. Let us talk. Let us talk about your worries. That is important. As I said, whatever you share, you say, problem shared is problems half. So that is what you have to talk about your feelings. You should be honest that you are worrying about these things. You know, because as it is said that feelings, whatever we are talking, they are not a sign of weakness, right? It is, you are helping yourself. On the other hand, you are helping yourself. So it is good for your well-being, for your mental health. If you talk about your weaknesses, you should recognize, you should know, yes, this is something you are worrying unnecessarily. So you talk to your friend, or some friend who is honest with you. Yeah. Next, yeah, the same thing what we discussed just now. Minimize new feed, because it is very, very important, and we are over and over listening to all these things. Yeah. Next, yeah, be active. Physical exercises that boost your mental health. Your physical health will always boost your mental health, because the blood that will flow all over your body, your brain, and everywhere. So it helps in your to concentrate and to sleep and to feel that both these, your body and mind, they are interrelated with each other. So if your body is active, your brain will be active, and you will think in a positive way. Yeah. Next, eat well. Many ladies, they think that now they are getting, they are overweight, they are getting overweight, and this is the time we have to diet, and they are stopping, they are not eating well, and then on the other side they are becoming sick and all that. So we have to eat well. If you are working, if you are active, if you are running, if you are doing exercises, then it is good, uh, that you should eat healthy. That is important, not all those other stuffs, not the fast food and all that, but yes, have healthy eating habits. That is important. And then self-care. Self-care, you have to take care of yourself, your personal hygiene, your exercise, you allocate time for resting, for working, and definitely you do things that makes you happy, that you enjoy. That is very important, to keep yourself busy and enjoy in all those activities. Whatever possible activities you can do, you can redefine yourself, you can think about yourself, what all you can do. So take time out for yourself and think about yourself, what I can do and how I can help myself. Yes. The next one. Yeah, don't discriminate. All those people who are suffering from this COVID-19, many people, they think, oh, he's an infected person and I have nothing to do with that person. No, in fact, you have to welcome them that yes, they fought that fight and now they have won over that disease. And in fact, you should not discriminate. Many people, they think that no, I have no contact with them and they are very scared. Oh, in that gully, अच्छा वहाँ पर तो इतने लोग हैं, मुझे तो वहाँ नहीं जाना है. No, like that, people, they are discriminating against them. Health workers, these are the health workers. Actually, we should salute them. They are the one who are helping us out, and they deserve our respect and gratitude. So these people, initial days, I remember these health workers, wherever they are staying, the landlord were telling them to vacate the house, and that was the condition they were facing. So no, we don't have to discriminate against these health workers. Yeah, next one. Yeah, enjoy yourself. The same thing which I said, do what you love to do, and all those activities that will bring happiness to your heart, because ultimately it is your mental health which you have to look after. So do what you love doing it, and this is the time most of us are in the house, and though the lockdown has been released, but still we have to stay home, we have to stay safe in the home. So we better take care of ourselves and do all those activities in which we feel the joy, like cooking, gardening, all these things have written. People have started writing, painting, and all those meaningful activities which can help boost your self-esteem. So that is very important. Take charge of your life. Yes, that is the conclusion of all these things. Take charge of your life. You have be aware what is going on in your body, what is going on with your mental health. You should be aware of these things. You should see the symptoms and understand if these the symptoms which we have discussed earlier, if these symptoms are coming, so what I can do personally to finish those things, and how I can overcome these symptoms. So that is what is important, and you have to take charge for everything of your life. Yeah. So
now we will
that was all.
Questions for all your questions are open. If you ask anything from ma'am about your mental health, about the session, anything, any point you wanted to ask, please unmute yourself and please ask. Any questions?
I hope so. Everybody has enjoyed this session. I'm really thankful on my behalf and the foundation, on the behalf of foundation. Dr. Vandana will definitely looking forward to come to our cafe and have a sip coffee in my cafe. So that will be a more memorable and pleasurable thing for us. And to keep us happy, I am having a trick which I am giving to you. If you want to be happy, you should have some Punjabi friend with you, because Punjabi people are highly joyful and they love eating, and you will not feel bored. I am blessed that I am having a one friend, and hopefully he's also there and listening all these things. So I'm thankful
Can
to
I come
God.
in now? Can I come in now?
Oh yeah, why not? Yeah, sure. You are always welcome.
A word from you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Vandana.
Dr. Vandana, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, Dr. Vandana, it's thank you very much for your important time. I just have few questions. See, now since you've been a psychologist and you've been such a senior psychologist and you've been a professor in a degree college, right? So you must have really come across with some people who have really faced depression. Is that so?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. See, my question is, how would you classify the level of depression or the stress the person is going through it? See, now what all you have taught us, to be very frank, it is all a theoretical part, but if you talk about the practical part of, and my personal perception is like, until unless you go through with the practical aspect of something, I'm pretty sure that you'll not be able to understand the pain the person is going through, right? So now what happened is, I just wanted to know if you would have been across with a lot of people in your life, right, who have faced depression and all those things. How would you segregate those people? For example, there may be people who have a slight depression, right? So for them, the remedy would be a different one, right? There would be a person who do have a different level of depression, he's going through it, right? So the remedy would be a different one. See, the reason why I'm asking all this question is like, I just wanted to be a good listener, so I just kept myself quiet. Now I'll just brief it out. I've been working in this particular section from last almost 28 years. I'm working with this stress and depression, and it would be very straightforward if I will put like that I myself has gone through with this depression for last 25 years actually, and it was a very straight and very hard depression, right? And besides that, being a professor in engineering college and head of the department, having experience, that too doesn't work actually. Now my question arises, it is really tough because till today I do have a lot of patients and we are really working out. And mind you, I'm discussing these things from Chhattisgarh, right? And I do have a lot of patients with me. Now what happened is, it is very difficult to find it out the stage the person is going through it, because a person who do have in a slight depression is absolutely different, and if a person is going through a tough depression time. Now my question is, how would you segregate those people from stage 1, stage 2, stage 3? Did you have any sort of discrimination, or did you develop
Actually, there are different scales, like we measure depression. So
right?
like Beck's depression scale, that is very good, and that tells you exactly that a person, like how severe those symptoms are. Now
Right.
if a person is depressed, now if it just started off, so his immediate family or the friend people, they will understand. Like suddenly if a person was quite happy and like talking, and now he is trying to seclude himself, not mixing with the people, not going out, and trying to stay at home. So these are the initial symptoms which starts, right? Then his thought processes. Now later on he will start saying, I find my life
See again.
worthless, meaningless.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so that starts the severity of these things. Now actually depression, that is on a very large, so many factors are there that affects him. It is the psychiatrist who can understand or who can differentiate if a person is having depression because of the neurotransmitters are less in his body, because of these chemicals, especially the dopamine. That is the main
See, apart from
neurotransmitter.
dopamine, dopamine, it is the subtle in which plays a very important role.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I think it is a subject. It is a very broad subject which we will be covering later on, because depression and anxieties are a very wide subject. We cannot sum it up in like 1 minute or 2 minutes. So I think it will be very nice if you would join us in those sessions as well.
see again, I do agree, Barkha, right? But since we were discussing and we do have a senior person like ma'am over here,
Ma'am will be there.
right? So I always wanted to have a discussion, and as I do have a lot of psychiatrists in my families and all those things, but still, like when we had a discussion, this is again a big platform, to be very frank, and the biggest problem, to be very precise, is like to find it out the stage where do those people are actually, because again you will able to find it out the remedies of those people only when you will able to find it out at what stage those persons are, right? For example, अगर आपको light बुखार हुआ तो आपने light medicine ले ली. अब again these are the certain stages and all, right? So now it is very difficult to find it out. Again, there is a difference between depression and stress, right? Now, stress, if you talk about everybody nowadays, presently, just because of this pandemic, is going through stress. Agree, right? But then there is a big difference between stress and depression, right? So again, the monitoring part and all those things does waver a lot. So my question was just since ma'am is such a senior person, so she must be really aware of कि आप किस तरीके से उनको डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं, कैसे क्लासिफाइड करते हैं those patients को depending like stage 1, stage 3 and stage.
See,
so that is the only question I do have actually.
The only thing is like I cannot differentiate the person who is suffering. Now, who all your friends are, you can see if suddenly if your friend, one of your friend is behaving in unusual way. So the close people, the family people should understand the symptoms. If someone in their family, in their close family, if that person is behaving something awkward, they should immediately look into the matter. Family people, the friends, because somebody far off, I cannot know, I cannot understand. If a person, if I don't know him or her, I cannot make out. Yes, but if that person comes to you and if that person shares with you that these things are happening in my life and all these things, so people, they try to help them out, they counsel them, and they should definitely go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and with the psychologist, the psychologist will check out. We'll see, like there are so many tests we have, a psychological test where we can see like in what the severity of his depression. So many people, they don't want to get up from their bed. Now people, the family people, they are unable to understand that in my family only people are having this problem. I know one of my friends, one of my very good friend, his wife was suffering from OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and all those 30 years, that man never could make out that his wife is suffering from that problem.
Exactly. See, that is the same thing happened to me with one of my patients, and you won't imagine, both of his parents are doctors, right? Although they are not MBBS doctors, but they are Ayurvedic doctors, and they are doing very good practicing and all those things, right? But they were not been able to judge it, right? So there are, see, that is where the problem arises, and it is very tough, I tell you. And then there's one more thing which is actually quite prevalent in India, which is a kind of a taboo. So even if a person is suffering for something now, he will not at all feel comfortable or feasible to discuss, because he feel like the people will make joke of him, right? So that is something we have to really work it out, because see, again, it is a kind of a disease actually, right? The people over here in India, just because of awareness level, the people are not at all aware about, because again it is a disease and they're not really to take it. So that I really appreciate you. See, your presentation was very good, and then one thing which you were really precise, taboo. So yes, it is a kind of a taboo, especially in a country like India. कि ये तो पागल हो गया, right? Simply they will just make a joke, and the problem is then वो जो बंदा कुछ बोल भी सकता था ना मैम, वो कभी बोल ही नहीं पाता कुछ भी, वो फिर अपने दिल में रखता है, and then the problem arises, and it arises to certain level कि जहाँ पे फिर he starts thinking of committing suicide and all those things. And yes,
so, Vandana ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I think what you people are discussing, it's more, sorry to interrupt, I think it's more of an pedagogic study, which, every individual will have a different approach, and you have to study each and every individual to interpret the transition differently. So I just want to ask that, we have cycles. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. It's just a very normal and general thing. There are, ups and downs. So do we equate that down phase when we are not happy? Is that the transitioning phase? Is that from where depression starts?
Yeah, see, I told you that if this is not persistent, if it is short lived, you are depressed because of certain situation in your life is happening. If anybody is facing that situation, so yes, the reaction will be depression. It can be any reaction to that particular situation, but it should be short lived. Short lived means 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. That's all. But again, your body has that to come back to the equilibrium. You want that happiness. You want to come back to the original position, like how our physical body. We immediately it wants to come back to the original. That is what a person has to come back to the original. If he is unable to come to the original position, then there is a problem, and he has to understand that thing. Something is happening with him. Now, if it is like initial stages, yes, the people who are surrounding and they know that this transition is taking place, and they should be like aware of it. No, there is something wrong. There is something terribly wrong with this person, and it has been going for long. There are many symptoms. When the classification system of mental disorder, DSM-5 is now there. So for depression, certain symptoms are given there. If 3 and 4 symptoms of the listed symptoms, if whatever that is written there, if a person is suffering from that, then definitely he is going through the difficult time. He should immediately rush to a psychiatrist and take medicine. And there are very good medicines nowadays. The medical medicine have come, very good medicines have come, and he can become normal. If the neurotransmitters, if there are less neurotransmitters, then definitely there are tablets, dopamine is given, and all those things are given, and he will come back to normal. I hope.
Yeah. Now I think Mr. Sehgal was saying something. We would like to hear from him.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, Professor, and good evening to the host.
Good evening.
I don't have much to say, but I want to say something about what you people have been talking about pandemic.
Yeah.
Tarun, thank you for the compliments. The Punjabis are really Punjabis.
Yeah, right.
It is a combo with Punjabi and Pandit. Don't worry.
Yeah. That is Pandit and Punjabi is something that you have added more salt in the food, not eatable.
There are many other masalas there instead of these two.
Concerning this our going on pandemic, I think we have gone a little bit wrong in it. There are more diseases which are equally higher in number and more or less spread like corona. We are living with it. People die with those diseases much more than what people are dying with corona. I think one of the most common disease in India and very serious, and it spreads, is amoebiasis, which is because of our not very good potable water, very dirty water. And it is a complete circle, and anybody who has amoebiasis can give amoebiasis to anybody else if he touches him. This hype which was created, you may say that media was negative. Media was only giving you an information that so many people are infected. What I think the better way would have been, or I would say that there are certain things which should always be spoken in proportion. Always in proportion, otherwise you misunderstand it. For instance, you have might have heard many times the Indian Railways is the biggest in the world. Yes, it is true. Indian Railways, if you just measure the length of the railway lines, it is the biggest in the world. But it is the wrong information you are getting, or a half information. A country who is 100 times smaller than our country has 50% of the railway length line, so they are bigger. No, what do I have to do if you have a billion-kilometer line, if it is not spread all over the country? So the media, Mr. Tarun Pathak, it would have been much better if instead of giving a number that 1 billion are infected, you could have said only 0.1% are infected.
Saigal, we are always there to support you, and we are really whistleblower.
No,
you should grab the message.
No. What I'm trying to tell you, instead of saying 1 million are infected, you could have also said only 0.1 are infected, and in America 1% are infected. The message is very clear. We know how much is 0.1% of India. But the point was that mortality rate is how much? Infected, yes. How many people are dying? What is that percentage? That you tell only at the end. 1 billion infected, 10,000 treated, 500 died. Or you could have reversed it. So far, only 500 have died. That makes a difference to me.
I think that makes a difference to many listeners.
The government took the lockdown. What I understand, the lockdown was only to get prepared. That in case you have 10 million people infected, you need some place for them. And that place was not there. So the lockdown was implemented, and the government bought time to make the arrangements, which we see that they are ready with it now. If you know about it, there is a hospital in Delhi with 10,000 beds created by ITBP. And yesterday I spoke to those people. They have only 300 people inside against the capacity of 10,000. So this lockdown period was taken by the government to get prepared. Now, if I go through your whole lecture, mental health, do you think if somebody doesn't have money to eat, he can't buy food, can he have a good mental health? No. Everything is connected with economy, and that must run. अगर लड़ाई जहाँ हो रही है इंडिया पाकिस्तान में, तो यहाँ से फौजी जाएगा नहीं बॉर्डर पे क्या कि मैं जाऊंगा तो वहां मर जाऊंगा? मैं रोड पे ना निकलूं इसलिए कि एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, मर जाऊंगा मैं? नहीं, निकलना पड़ेगा मेरे को. And I am the example. I didn't sit for a single day during your lockdown. Not a single day. Every day I was in my factory. Okay, factory was not running, but we were doing something else. We were preparing materials to distribute, but practically every day I was out. And now we are running our factory with a complete strength of 2,000 people. If people decide that they are not going out just because they will catch corona, so they can catch hundreds of diseases. This psychology, this fear must go out as soon as possible. You take care of yourself. You protect yourself. Mask is good enough. Don't touch unnecessary things, and let the life come back to a normal situation. Otherwise, we are going to get trapped in a situation which will be irreversible. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words. That's very true that economy is also there. But the whole purpose, so what we wanted was the key the key to mental health, that your thoughts really matters. And this was what was the whole session was all about.
Thought will not change if you keep sitting in the house.
Yeah, correct. The thought will not change. The thought
And you
is
have to go out.
that we have to practice.
Yeah.
That's what we have to practice, certain things to change those thoughts. So that is what
Yeah. Can I
practice.
can I just quickly add one or two points?
Yes.
I came to this. I don't know many people here, and I just came to this webinar and to seek the psychological advice. That was because some person from psychology was there, and I would definitely, if anytime you organize anything on the medical grounds, so if you call a medical expert and he says that we should or we should not go out, I would definitely like to hear that also. So,
We will keep you posted about all the sessions. It will be a mix of everything. It will be a mix of. So we will definitely.
Yeah. So like I would take my advice from the experts. I just want to add.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, for such an informative session. I'm sure we all have learned many new insights about mental well-being. I thank each one of you for taking time out to join this wonderful journey, and I will be sending the details of our next session soon. So take charge of your mental being. The key is to practice, practice, and practice. Till we meet in next session, take good care of yourself, your loved ones, and stay safe. Please send your feedbacks and comments, or you may write us at livelifetodayfoundation@gmail.com, or you can send me a message for any kind of psychological help you need, or any kind of suggestion, or any kind of feedback you have. So thank you. Yeah.
Let me conclude in that way. Whatever Rajesh Sehgal was telling, let us come out and let us have the next section in our cafe. Why not?
That will be, of course, a mutual thing. Let people decide.
Only if the medical expert
decide,
that.
because we have people from all across the globe. It's not only Agra. It's from different. And that will be a good idea. I mean, let's plan it out like that.
Only a medical expert can advise on that, please.
Anyways, Barkha, I'd just like to add something over here. It was a nice, beautiful session, and it was quite informative. We really enjoyed it. And yes, my just small request is plan it your session accordingly, like this session in which we have learned something. So in next session, we should be given an ample space where we can discuss what we have learned in the previous webinar. So that is just a small suggestion from my side, if it is possible.
Vineet, it will be, of course, it will depend upon what subject we are covering in that. If it will be related, then of course, the session will be according to the subject, because as I said, mental well-being it has many components.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we will be discussing, we will be taking one each time, and then keeping the.
Anyways, but thank you very much for such an informative session. Thank you
everyone for joining us.
One thing I would like to say that yes, Mr. Sehgal, he has comprehended the situation very well, and he was active all this time, and he could do it. That is really commendable thing which he has done, and the challenges which he has taken. So that is good. And the only thing is that everyone has to think of their way of coping the situation. And yes, economic thing is definitely, it's a very important factor in our country, and how people are coping up, and that is very crucial thing which he has pointed out. So we can think of next session later on, and
yes, ma'am.
Thank you all for listening me.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. So goodbye. Take care of yourself till the next time we meet.
Thank you very much. Do take care of yours. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.